this week on the Anime Alchemist podcast.
Do you think that it'll get to a point where it'll be kind of like simuldub, where like, the dub is essentially as caught up to where the sub is?
When I got cast for Kurakawa, and I watched the J first before going in for my first session, when I watched the J, I was like, oh, he's a call me daddy villain.
Like we all agree, nobody talks shit about Bonclay. We've already addressed this.
Chopper's best boy.
Chopper is best boy. And when Oda finishes the One Piece and we find out what it is, you shut the fuck up, you stand up and applaud.
Yeah, and if you...
That there. Welcome back to the Anime Alchemist podcast. My name is Emery.
My name is Gary.
My name's Martine, behind the camera.
Yeah, they still haven't found a cure for overly handsomeness, so we're just
still trying to find a camera.
Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know, he got hit with the handsome Squidward syndrome. So now he's just too handsome to look at, and we have to keep him off screen. But we are super honored today to have a special guest. You may know his voice from several different animes, stretching from like One Piece to Moonlight Fantasy, which I found out was super fascinating. Put your hands together for Josh Putnam. Really, really appreciate you having you on. Really appreciate your time today.
Again, thank you for having me on. It's this is only the second podcast I've been on, so this is cool.
Right on.
Oh, it's an honor.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate everybody for listening or watching, whether it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Maybe you guys checking us out on YouTube. Drops every Thursday. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn those notifications on. If you guys like this content, you guys want to see us, interview more voice actors, or maybe if you have some questions for him afterwards, let us know in the comments. Like always, spoiler warning. Spoiler warning can get you 10% off on some G Fuel. Make sure you guys use our link on our description for additional discounts. Let's talk about some anime.
All right, yeah, let's get into it.
Sorry, that felt good. I'm sorry. Like that all came out. That didn't seem like I fucked it up, so I'm proud. Oh man. So I kind of like going off like what we were kind of talking about earlier. What like is, I guess, your history with anime, manga? Like what got you in love with the Japanese culture?
I mean, so I think a lot of people, a lot of like millennials, like I got into it through like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball, all that early stuff that was coming over, I would, like, my dad used to be a delivery driver for a company, and I would go with him on his job sometimes, and we'd stop at a gas station. I'd go into the gas station, like search the magazine rack for anything, and I used to even pick up those old like comic book prints of like Dragon Ball Z before they were actually printed in the manga way.
Yeah.
And I've just loved it ever since, and loved cartoons and video games and whatnot. And when I figured out, like, because when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I was doing YouTube stuff, just random stuff. And when I figured out, like, oh, hey, this is what voiceover is, I was like, I want to do this. And I could do this for anime, so, like, let's go.
That's awesome. No, I like that. That's cool. Man, that's a long-term anime fan then.
Yeah, no, that's cool. He's like, oh, man, I like this. I'm going to do it. Does it. Respect.
How do you even get into just voice acting as a career? Because I feel like that's such a like niche job, and I admire so many different voice actors. Like, how would one go about if they wanted to start that journey?
So, like, everybody's journey is different. Like, I've seen people who have been like doing stage and then like stumbled into voiceover, and then they're like, oh, I like this more, or somebody randomly was like, oh, hey, you have a good voice, you want to help me out with something, and they get pulled into something, and then they just make a career out of it. As far as myself, like I said, I started off with the YouTube stuff, and then I just started learning more and more as I went along, and just trying to figure out, like, how do I get in, and like, so I started trying to build more what would what you would consider like more amateur resume, because like it was a lot of fan stuff that I wasn't getting paid for online. And then eventually I started getting small things like indie video game bit parts and whatnot, $10 here or there. But then I've seen like other people like that will be like, hey, I'm going in for acting for college, I know I want to do acting, and then they'll just try everything in acting and then be like, okay, voiceover is the thing that pulls me most. With me, it was always like, I want to be in anime, I want to be in video games, I want to be in cartoons, and like because I love those mediums so much, and I'm like acting as a general thing, like it's one of those things that I never get tired of. Like I'm on this like I have neurodivergencies, and so like I get obsessions and whatnot, and like sometimes they'll fizzle out. Acting's one of those things that hasn't, because like it's always new and whatnot. So you just gotta have the passion for it, and you just gotta make sure that you're looking into it. Nowadays, thankfully, the community is a lot more helpful and whatnot. Like there's voice acting club and just so many other resources online that you can be like, okay, I need to know how to do this. Boom, you've got the information. And as long as you're willing to put in the time, like you're good.
So it's a lot more accessible to like get into the industry nowadays.
Yeah. Especially like even than it was like 10 years ago, even somewhat 5 years ago. Like 5 years ago, it was still more accessible than 10, but like it's because of the pandemic. Like there was so many people being like, oh, I can't go onto a set. Like voiceover is like the only thing I can do from home, so they had to learn.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I could definitely see how COVID had a pretty big impact on that kind of stuff. Because, like, I do notice how so many different voice actors have the capabilities to do it from home. Like, you don't really all need to converge at the same studio or anything. It can be done so separately and then put together in post, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Back toward the end of the, like, main chunk of the pandemic was when I got cast in Sabaquee Bisco. And I recorded all of Bisco, or all of the character Kurokawa in Bisco in my home booth. And I would have been able to record the last episode, apparently, at the new Crunchyroll office when it was first opening up, but somebody came in sick, so they had to lock it down again.
Oh,
so
no.
all of my lines, save for one retake line that we did for the Blu-ray, were all recorded in my booth.
Wow.
Bro, that is so sick. I love that anime. People sleep on it. It is so crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those original stories that like I'm like, I actually dig this. Like when it got announced that the cast got announced and whatnot, Kyle, who plays Bisco, contacted me on Twitter and was like, dude, have you read the light novels yet? I was like, no. He's like, well, you might have to order it online because the like local manga shop, I bought all of them.
Oh my god.
He's like, but it's really good. So I ordered the first copy, or the first volume, and read that, and like that was one of the things I used to educate me on the character and like make sure I brought my best to it. And then like also like before I started recording the first episode, the JA was out, so I went ahead and watched that, and then when I came into the first session, Inman, who's the director, he's like, so do you know what's going on? I was like, yeah, I watched the first episode, I'm good. He's like, oh, okay, good, I don't have to describe it to you then.
It's kind of complex to just try to describe and be like, hey, watch this anime about these mushroom growers, but it's a little more complex than that.
Yeah. And then sometimes you go in and it's like, hey, do you know anything about this? I couldn't find any information on it. It's like, oh, okay, well, here you go.
Huh.
That's really cool.
That
They,
is
they
cool.
kind of make sure you're prepped. It's like, nah. This is your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Now I feel like we do have to kind of set the record straight, of where I now know you from, and that is like you were a former member of the Rodger Pirates. Like, that's a fact. And you were Mr. Momoro.
Yep, Mr. Momoro. Yep.
And I okay, so the whole reason that I guess we got connected was because I had this theory that after the Rodger Pirates disbanded, Mr. Momoro in fact took up a different identity when he ate a devil fruit and became Big News Morgan. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the only person who's talked about it. I've seen several videos where people are like, look at the hat, and look,
the similarities.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, if that shit comes full through, I hope to God it does, just so we can have him voice it more.
Oh, that'd be so crazy.
I think at this point, I wouldn't voice the human version just because he's older. So probably Morgan's voice actor now would be voicing him.
But it all started with you, and that's what matters.
It's still sick though.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine for me. If there's a reason for the character to have a different voice, it's like yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if that theory comes true though, I'd be like, I'm also Big News Morgan's technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
That's a crazy theory.
I like it because when it was confirmed that Big News Morgan is a devil fruit user and that we've never actually seen his human form, that just leaves the door open for anything. I'd be like, he could be literally anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyone that we know that hasn't ate a devil fruit.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm thinking is a counter thing to that is just because usually on the J side they're pretty good about voice actor things, is that the voice actors are different for the two of them, but it could be a situation where Morgan's is older now, his voice is changed because he's an old man.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's true, yeah. And we all know Oda likes to change things at the drop of a hat because he came up with a good idea.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the dreams, growing up with anime and then getting into voiceover. It's just oh hey, I've been watching One Piece since it began. So,
and it's okay. So I know you're also a member in the Big Mom Pirates too, correct?
Yeah. So I played. Oh jeez, what's his name? I know it off.
I have it somewhere here. Charlotte Chioblest.
Yes, Chabost. Yeah. And that he had more lines than Mr. Momoro, but
fair.
But every time I get to come in, it's always fun. And I've played a bunch of background stuff. The new batch that just came out. I announced on Twitter a couple days ago that I got to do some of the Samurai and the Beast Pirates. That's cool.
That's so really cool. Dope.
Yeah.
It's got to be amazing being part of the process.
Yeah, it's and with those background characters, you get to play a little bit more too, in any anime. One of them that stood out to be in this batch was one of the Beast Pirates that's shooting a cannon off, and then Yamato lands in front of them, and he's just ah!
It's a fantasy for me.
It's gotta be so much fun too, because especially with an anime like One Piece, you get some of the wackiest characters too, so you really get to go all out sometimes, I feel.
100%, yeah. And the directors know that too, both Anthony Bowling and Emily Fajardo that I've worked with, they're both they've both been big fans of the property, so they're oh yeah, no, we're gonna go whole hog into it, and where we can, we're gonna play hard. So
For sure.
I like
That's
that.
really dope. That sounds like it's fun. That, and they give you, they try to have fun with it too. That's really cool.
That's a fact. Now, as somebody who's voiced a character who was on the Rodger Pirates,
What's the One Piece?
Exactly my question. What's the One Piece? Okay, I don't want to know what the One Piece is,
Yeah,
but I
what
want
were
to know
y'all
what your
laughing at?
theory is.
Yeah, I have no idea right now, but like, because I'm still a fan of One Piece, and I'm keeping up with the manga I just read.
Oh, hold on. Hold on.
Sorry,
wait,
they're anime
let me
only.
know
We're so
what-
sorry.
My bad.
No, I'm not gonna spoil it.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
No. I'm just saying. I read it 118th this morning when it came up on the Shonen Jump app. So like,
Yeah.
I'm keeping up.
Gotcha.
But like, as far as what it is, I hope it's just like the definitive answer to everything. I can't quite place my finger on what I want it to be. Just like, I have faith in Oda that he will make it as satisfying as possible. Because he has just a way with that. Just like, oh man, this one thing I didn't get satisfaction on yet. It's like, wait 5 chapters. It's like, oh.
There it is. Yeah. It always comes when you least expect it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You have that thought, like, for that moment, and then you forget about it by next week. And then by the time it comes back full circle, it's like, oh, shit, that's right. I was kind of waiting for that. Huh.
It's that gift that keeps on giving.
That's a crazy thought. It's like this man built a whole story around this idea that we have no idea what it could be.
Yeah.
And it's
Henry,
like
the biggest
he's
mystery in the
gotta-
world.
He's got to fill in the blank,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's waiting. Like, that's so crazy.
It's crazy
When you
that,
really
like,
think about it.
at this point, like, two universes are like, well, I mean, like, two worlds are just like teetering on like, what is the One Piece? That's the One Piece world, and that's our fucking world. Because like the moment the One Piece is revealed, I think in real life, either the planet's gonna come to a complete halt because like half of the planet's gonna be like, yeah, and the other planet's gonna be like, fuck this, I want it better.
There's going to be so many people that are so excited and so many people that are going to be disappointed. Like, it will be so inevitable because it's just, again, like one of the biggest mysteries in the world. It will never be the same after it gets revealed.
It's gonna cause a whole.
Where were you when you found out what the One Piece was?
It's gonna be one of the questions of the decade.
Yep.
Oh my
Like
god.
telling your kids, it's like,
when they revealed what the One Piece was?
I remember I was
let me
recording.
tell you.
Oh my god.
That'd be crazy.
Oh, I actually have an interesting question that I just thought of, right? And we had talked about this before. There's this like almost like a fan theory that we've noticed that the dub for One Piece has been really like going through Wano at a very fast pace and like way faster than it used to before. And it seems like they're almost wrapping up Wano. We saw that Green Bull was actually just very recently casted as well too. So it seems like the dub is trying to catch up to where the sub is, you know, as much as they can. Do you think that it'll get to a point where it'll be kind of like simuldub, where like, you know, the dub is essentially as caught up to where the sub is?
I think simuldub is definitely a possibility, especially because I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I heard, the J was Toei was saying like, hey, we're basically going into a seasonal version of presenting this, just so that way there's no filler from now until the end of the series.
Right.
So like, if the dub catches up, like a simuldub would not be surprising, just because like it's so popular that it warrants that.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that would be really cool. And it would just make it easier for more people to enjoy the show, in my opinion. Because, like, now we've even seen that Netflix has so many One Piece seasons now that, like, they never used to have before. And, you know, the live action alone probably brought an entire new wave of fans to it.
And they're gonna do a whole new version.
And they're doing a remake for it, too, yeah.
Yeah, the One Piece, the Netflix, rework of the whole series, it's definitely them being like, okay, we need our hands in this pile of money.
Yeah.
We saw what the live action did for us. We need our hand deeper into the pile.
Yeah,
Netflix-
for sure.
Netflix is not dumb. Like they see like, yeah, no, the world's going one piece and we are riding that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Riding that ship. Sorry.
So lame.
I do like I have seen like you've done an extensive amount of different voice acting in several different animes. Is there one that you can say that was probably like your favorite? Or maybe your favorite experience, one or the other?
I mean, Bisco is probably still my favorite. Not only because it was my first named character for Kurokawa, but also that show was really fun. I met a lot of really cool people from the cast. Inman's really fun as a director. The assistant director is really fun. It just the whole experience is great. And Kurokawa was like the guy who plays Palpatine has said before, and it's true, is like villains are really fun to play because you can just kind of go full ham on them and it works. So like literally when I got cast for Kurokawa and I watched the J first before going in for my first session, when I watched the J, I was like, oh, he's a call me daddy villain. And that's what I understand.
I'm only referring to characters.
Good way to put that.
I don't need any kind of like nobody has to show me proof. I already know exactly like what he's talking about. Like I could not ask for a better description.
What kills me is I've seen it and I've watched it both subbed and dubbed, but like I know both of y'all haven't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bro, y'all gotta watch it.
I'm going
y'all
to
gotta
after
watch
this
it.
now. This is honestly like on the top of my list, and it's dubbed. So yeah, I'm gonna watch it so
That's
quick.
So crazy. He plays Kurokawa. That's really cool. I'm sorry. I'm kind of fanboying right now.
No, go for it, bro. Like that's like I'm glad that there's like a character that Gary really fucks with that you've
Hell
done.
yeah, no, bro. That anime was like one of the most animes that there was. I remember seeing gorillas with like mech boxing gloves flying at people, throwing punches, and then there was like bees like shooting off machine guns from their stingers on their hands. I was like, what the fuck?
What kind of
What
acid
is going
trip
on?
of an anime is that?
No,
I want to see this
crazy.
so bad now.
Season 2's been announced too. Like that's coming later.
There's a
this year or
season
beginning
2?
of next year. Yeah, and it's gonna follow volume 2 from what I heard. So, and volume 2 of the light novel just gets even crazier. Like by volume 6, it is so crazy that I told the director like one of the things that happens, and he's like, "Man, I don't even know if they're gonna put that in the anime."
Oh my god, I'm excited. I didn't know that it was confirmed for a season 2, so you heard it here. That's really dope.
Yeah, they made an announcement a little while ago that it had started production on season 2, but like, and I think it was slated for later this year, but I don't know if they gave it like an actual like release date.
Maybe it'll be like a winter fall. Seems like something would be good come back around those times.
We're blessed. When it gets to now, like when we have a date for it, I'm gonna force y'all to watch it.
Oh, I'm gonna be honest. I kind of just want to like when we're done here, I actually go start like just the first episode, just to
Yeah, I'm curious now.
He's
see.
like, no, I want to see. I met him. Now I want to know.
I want to see machine
Yeah.
gun bees.
I want to see gorillas with big old boxes.
This ain't the first time I've recommended it.
It's not.
It's really not. I was talking about it for like 3 weeks.
Hey, what were we talking about before, bro? It takes like at least a good year or two before we actually watch the things you recommend. But you're always right. They're always good.
He never misses.
Thank you.
I feel you on the wait, and then also it's so good. Like me and the voice actor who played what's his name, Gojo in My Dress Up Darling.
Oh yeah. You know him?
We because our two shows were on in the same winter. Like we got into each other's shows, and like became friends on like Twitter and whatnot, and we were both saying like, oh man, your show's great. Your show's great.
Dude, that's so sick.
That's so cool, man. I love My Dress Up Darling. I think it's such a good
Same.
show. And we're waiting on a season 2, hopefully.
Seriously,
Yeah.
I would love a season 2.
That anime was like
is
the
that
most.
confirmed?
I thought it was, to be honest.
I gotta start keeping better track on this. I used to be really good about it.
You know, I bet the hang up is, man. It's hard to schedule Amelie to dub that kind of shit. I'm just saying.
She's a busy woman.
Okay, so I just kind of like steer away, I guess, just a little bit from the voice acting, kind of get to know a little bit more the inner weeb. One thing we like to ask, just because it seems to throw most people off, not everybody. Do you have a top 5 anime?
Yeah, definitely. And this is like not like any other anime is bad, but it's just like these are the ones I connect with most, like either because of the characters or when they came into my life or whatever. My number one out of any anime is still Outlaw Star. Like I got into that back in the old Toonami days, and that was probably the thing that started like most of my friendships through junior high and high school, because when I got into homeroom for the first time in 7th grade, it was a brand new school because the school I had been in was 1st through 6th, and then we got shoved into this other school.
Oh yeah.
And so it was another town over. Didn't really know anybody from the new town, and one of the kids at my table, who I didn't know, he was talking to another kid about Outlaw Star. I was like, "You know Outlaw Star?" And just the whole story is really fun and everything. And I just love the XGP. I even named my Wi-Fi router the Outlaw Star. So
That's funny. Ours is go watch One Piece.
But then number 2 is probably Bleach.
Yes. Let's go.
Because like it's like I am ride or die for One Piece, and I really love Naruto too. But like Bleach is my top of the big 3. I really connect to Ichigo. When I was young, I lost my mother young too, like he did. So that really connected me, and then just there's a lot of spiritual stuff in there, and I really connected to that. And then it's just badass.
Yeah. On top of all of that, yeah.
I mean, the aesthetic is bad ass.
Yeah, it's never disappointed me. And the new 1,000 Year Blood War, like, I waited for a couple weeks before like starting it because I was like, man, I'm nervous. Like I know Hero like is real good with this, but like I'm nervous that it's not gonna feel the same. And I started watching it. I was like, oh man, I feel like right back like when I first started it again. Like it was great. And then other top 5. Not necessarily in order, but Eden of the East is one of the ones I really love.
Okay.
I have the whole series. I have the movie, or the movies. It's just such a tight story, beginning to end. And I can't even really talk about most of it because it's just gonna spoil it.
Really?
Because like the main character's an amnesiac, and we don't even like get his perspective first. We get the secondary main character's perspective first, and she is just completely nobody technically, and then just get pulled into his story, and from there it's just a wild time. And I can't say anything more than that if you haven't seen it.
What type of genre is it? Like psychological kind of, or?
It's definitely drama.
Okay.
But it's also sci-fi. But it's very grounded in reality as well. Okay. It's less futuristic than like a Cowboy Bebop or something, but it's got a little bit of that feeling.
Okay.
Definitely check that out if you haven't. Then the other ones, I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Understandable. Okay.
Very, very understandable.
Like, I'm definitely not one of those people that's like, that was like, oh man, no, Aaron was right. No. No.
Well, I have some unfortunate news about our little host right here.
Hi.
I mean, I get where he was coming from. What he was doing was not the way to go about it. But yeah, but like
When in Rome.
When in Rome.
Beginning to end, that like that show just was like, even when it got slow, when you think it's hit like the bottom of like the slowness, like you're like, I don't know if I can keep going because it's just dragging a little bit. Then it's just like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
we're back, because it's just like, oh, they were just building up to something.
Yeah, no, I mean, the reveal that the world was not as small as we thought it was insane, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you know, obviously spoilers for Attack on Titan, but 3 seasons believing one thing and then all of a sudden just realizing like, oh no, there's this whole other world, kind of gave like that Hunter x Hunter effect where you find out about the Dark Continent and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's basically like it was Game of Thrones for anime nerds.
Yes.
Yes,
I fully agree.
But instead, it nailed the ending.
Thank you very much.
I, for one, enjoyed the ending of Game of Thrones. Death, destruction, domination.
I'm one of the people that's like, I don't completely hate the last season of Game of Thrones. There are a lot of good things in it, but the parts are not, coming together cohesively.
Right. More than anything, I always say I just think it was very rushed. I think that they should have done a full season and not half a season.
Yeah, or 2 seasons.
Or yeah. Like they could have wrapped up some character line or storylines a bit better, just as a service to the fandom. But I digress. We have House of the Dragon now, so maybe they'll fix it.
They are not going to fix Daenerys dying.
The dragon burnt the throne, dog. That was the most confusing thing.
But yeah, back on
Anime.
topic, like my fifth one, my fifth favorite anime. I'm probably like
See, this is where people struggle.
I want to say, just because again it means a lot to me, but then again, like I think 5 changes from time to time. I think the one that's consistently there is Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes.
Okay.
This man has taste.
Yes, he does.
Man of
He
culture.
really does.
Just because like it definitely has like full character arcs for everybody. Like
Yep.
the amount of characters that we get is never like too many for the main characters. So you have better focus on all of them.
Yeah.
But even all of the side characters are real fun.
Oh yeah, the main the core cast is very well written in my opinion, and it does a good job of giving each of them like time on screen.
100%. And then like that's why like the Dark Tournament is still seen as one of the best arcs in all of anime. Like all of those side characters, like there's at least one that people are like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you can find someone to relate to. We had recently, a few months back, actually, we did a whole episode kind of dedicated to Yu Yu Hakusho and kind of like examining the series, because I had rewatched it kind of for the first time since I was like a kid, because, back on Toonami, it would air on there, but I wasn't really watching it, episode like in order chronologically or paying attention to the main story. I was just watching whatever was on. So as like an adult and more of an anime fan, I wanted to watch it from beginning to end, and then they also kind of had recently rewatched it, so we did a whole episode kind of talking about like our thoughts, and it still holds up to this day in my opinion as like one of the most solid anime you could recommend to somebody, at least like anyone who's even remotely interested in action and like shonen type anime.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, like with the recommendations is I get asked so many times, people are like, oh, you like anime, what anime should I get into? I'm like, well, okay, what TV shows do you watch?
Exactly.
Because it's a medium, it's not a genre. Like I need to know like if you're into sci-fi, if you're into romance, like what are you into, and that'll point you in some direction.
Yeah, no, that's a really good way to put it. Like, I think that's something that we need to help more people understand who maybe aren't familiar with anime. That like, anime is not, you know, a genre; it's a medium. It's just like regular television, like live action. There are fantasies, there are dramas, there's action, there's a lot of different things. So there's something for everybody out there, in my opinion.
Man, I always forget sci-fi is like it's a genre because I think it's fantasy. I'm like, oh, fantasy, okay.
It's just space fantasy.
Yeah,
fantasy.
it's sci-fi though.
Star Trek is a space fantasy.
Yeah.
Fantasy.
There you go.
Just like Star Wars.
Yep. Why did I say Star Trek first? I don't even like Star Trek.
Kind of I guess a different question to ask is there an anime that you watched and by the time you were done with it, you were just like, that was hot garbage. I wish I hadn't watched that. Or like you would pay money to not remember it.
I know there are, but I think I've forgotten them.
Thank God. It looks like your wish came true.
I mean that's what happens.
I mean, there's a lot of the anime that are just like, oh, this was 100% written for just a certain type of people that maybe we don't need to associate with. But then it's just like, but that's like the easy answer, kind of, you know.
Martine wishes he could unwatch Redo Healer.
Why do you have to bring that up?
With that one world in another world with my level 2 skill.
There was I remember
he's got like the wolf or the dog waifu, whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
It like starts off, he's a baby and he's like this royal with the crest on his chest and finds out they're terrible people and they plan to kill the baby.
And they throw him out. Yeah.
Throw him out because they think he's weak, but turns out he's super strong. Dude, that got another season. It got the second season, and they're talking about making more. And it is so trash. It is so bad.
That's the thing too. Is like with like how much of my time is eaten up by one thing or another nowadays. I've developed a thing over time with any TV show, whether it's live action, anime, whatever. I will, if the first episode at least interests me slightly, I will give it 3 episodes. If it doesn't get me by the 3rd episode, I'm good. Just because I'm like, I don't know if I can spend the time with that where I already have a backlog of these other shows I want to catch up on.
Yeah.
Or this video game that I'm still letting collect dust. You know.
Oof, God, that's fucking relatable.
Oh, that's very valid. I'd do the same thing. I'd just give it about 5 episodes.
Yep.
I think that's a fair amount. So like you can establish a basic storyline in 5 episodes, right? And like you can kind of tell.
Even 3.
Even 3, yeah. Especially with newer anime nowadays, like they're so much more fast paced than they used to be. Like, for example, if you gave like, I mean, One Piece 3 episodes, like you could still really like it, but it definitely doesn't. You cannot capture the story of One Piece in 3 episodes, considering how massive it is now, right? But that was a different time. Like it was slower paced. You could take your time telling the stories, and the stories can change over the course of years and years, right? Because that's just how it was. Nowadays, I feel like you got to have that Demon Slayer effect, where it's like first 3 episodes, boom, action, family died, gotta go get revenge, blah blah blah. You know?
Now he's strong. He can cut demons' heads off.
Oh, this is the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like One Piece is definitely the slowest of the big 3. Obviously, we're 20 plus years into it.
Almost 30.
Yeah.
And I'll take 20 more.
Like, but Bleach and Naruto, like first episodes, like here's your big intro to your main character, and like one of your secondary side characters. Like, there you go. That'll rope you in. If it doesn't, like it's probably not for you. One Piece, it's like, okay, when you get to Zoro, you will probably be like, okay, I'm interested. And then when you get to Arlong Park, it's like, okay, I'm in it.
Right. Oh yeah. I feel like we always say, if by Arlong Park you're not really feeling it, then it's probably not for you.
Yeah.
I swear to God, that's the most true, accurate statement. You give it to Zoro. If you like the Zoro stuff, watch Till Our Long Park. If you're not sold by then, I get
Yeah,
it.
it's probably not for you. Like if none of that impacts you enough to be like, I'm gonna watch this show. I don't know what you're watching. Probably reality TV.
If you don't get at least choked up when Luffy puts the hat on Nami,
Seriously,
I don't want to talk to you.
Right? I don't know if I want to be friends with you if you don't feel anything.
yeah, you're heartless fuck. I'm just gonna say it. Yeah.
One of the gripes that so many people have is always like they complain about the animation, how it looks like super silly and goofy, right? And I'm just like, okay, I get it. It's not conventional, right? It doesn't look like Demon Slayer or anything like that. But you also got to remember it came out at a very different time. And like they're even working on a remake for it. So you'll get that good animation eventually. And it does look way better now than it did before. It's one of those that like is worth going through it, in my opinion.
I mean, we have way more animation, like updated animation and better graphics than we do have like lower quality when you're watching the series. Like the majority of it has better animation. You can start seeing the quality scale up early on. So that's one of those gripes that it falls off very quickly.
Yeah, like the animation in One Piece, I feel kind of just illustrates Luffy's growth. Anyway,
Yeah.
because like in East Blue, I love the watercolor stuff because
Yeah.
it's like the East Blue is basically the epilogue to the story, and it's very childlike in its observation of the world, and that's Luffy. And then you get into the Grand Line, and everything starts getting a little more serious, a little less watercolor.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point actually. And like even I like how they change even art styles based off of the arcs. Like that jump from Whole Cake Island to Wano, for example, that change in art style, I think it fits so nicely because of like the pseudo Japan, like style of Wano fit the art style that it had, and they could do some really cool and creative things with the animation that we hadn't seen before.
100%, yeah, and like since Wano, like the action animation is just like off the scales, and it's like, okay, now we're in the serious part.
Yeah, no, now it's endgame.
Quick question. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this kind of stuff, but is there any like dub projects you're working on that you can tell us about to look forward to?
I mean, yeah, anything that I would be working on, if I am, I wouldn't be able to say until it's until I'm given the green light to announce it like online or whatever.
That's cool.
No worries.
I'm always working.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, cool.
Are there any projects that like you would like to be a part of in the future? Maybe something that you've heard that's kind of in the works, or something that's on your radar at least?
I mean, I'd like to at least be somebody in Kaiju number 8.
Yes. Whoa. Love that.
Like that and Spy Family have been my two favorite manga in the last few years that I've been following, other than One Piece. And because I was a huge fan of Dr. Stone, that ended. But yeah, like Kaiju number 8 would be great. There's an anime that's coming out for the manga called Dungeon People, and that like. I've only heard the premise and I need to read the manga, but the premise is that like the main character is an adventurer. They go into a dungeon, they get knocked out, the monsters are dragging them off. The monsters see other adventurers, go to take down them. The main character wakes up and sees a door on the side of the dungeon wall that's open and goes through it, and there's a behind the scenes area of the dungeon where the monsters are like taking out new loot. And whatnot.
No way.
And then they're like, you've seen too much, you're now part of the crew. And I'm like, oh, that sounds great.
Oh, that sounds funny as hell, actually.
Just take a premise and flip it.
See,
Oh
like
my
now
God.
that I could get behind. Like that's a very interesting take on like the dungeon crawler type anime,
Like they and more people have been doing that lately. I know Dungeon Meshi was like, it's like, okay, let's just be silly.
That was fun though.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I love cooking animes.
Cooking
we were watching,
animes.
Yeah, we were watching Campfire Cooking in Another World just a little bit ago.
Yeah, and I'm like, especially after the pandemic, but like even before the pandemic, I'm a cooking nerd. like Sanji's my guy.
Nice.
And like it's him and a couple other things in my life that were like inspired me like to get into cooking and be like, oh yeah, no, like I actually like food. So
Have you seen the cookbook that's inspired by like all of Sanji's recipes?
I have it.
Good.
Nice. So do we.
Nice. A man of culture again.
I don't know if this is badass, but have you seen Food Wars?
Yes.
What'd you think of that?
I mean, other than the extreme amounts of fan service,
Yeah.
Which, like, either way, but no, the food in that, like, I was like, how in the hell? But at the same time, I'm like, I want to try it.
Yeah, those are big things. I want to try it. I want to cook now.
I remember when he went through it, like when he was watching it, he went through like a different kind of like cooking phase. It was very,
I was like, I'm gonna make this shit.
Mhm.
And I made a couple of the dishes.
I tried to make the chicken wing gyoza. Didn't turn out great, but I tried.
I think
See?
the easiest thing to really replicate was the steak, like the marinated onion steak, and then they caramelize the onions and make the don bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That was very doable.
Yep.
Is there any anime out there that you feel is super underrated and a lot of more people should go check out?
Other than Eden of the East, because I know a lot of people like it's 50-50 on whether people have seen it. When I mentioned that, but one of the more modern ones that's underrated is Odd Taxi.
Oh, I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like kind of like got a noir thing going on, but at the same time, everybody in it is an anthropomorphic animal. But then that ties into the main story.
Look on your face, Henry.
Black Ramen Podcast recommended it to
Did
us
they?
too.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah.
Huh.
It's real good. Like, and like I liked oh crap, now I can't remember the name. What was the other anime that the maker of Baccano did? That took place in Ikebukuro.
No, I'm not so sure.
But anyway, somebody out there knows.
Yeah.
I love that because it's very character driven, and the city of Ikebukuro almost acts like its own character.
Oh.
Be like it's not like it's
Durarara?
What's up?
Is that the one you're talking about? Durarara?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That-
I've heard of that.
yeah, you're right. The city totally does kind of like play a character low key in
Yeah.
that show.
Yeah, like it's not like sentient or anything, but like the city has its own like way about it, and like it's real good.
So like Hogwarts Castle? I'm sorry.
Different in a way that like
Like-
there's just a flow.
Like pre-sentient Mary.
Oh, that's a
okay.
great comparison.
Yeah, like Mary's always been its own character, but
Mhm.
like you didn't think about it until it became sentient.
Yeah, until she started talking and
like, oh,
apologizing and breaking my heart.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to go that far,
I'm
Martine?
sorry.
This is why I'm not on camera, so they can't see my tears.
Asshole.
Yeah, like Dororo is great. My favorite character in it is one of the guys. He is a bartender that is so crazy strong. In his first appearance, he throws a refrigerator at another dude.
What the heck?
Like homeboy will casually pick up like a light pole on the ground, just
Yeah, cement and everything. He pulls it out of the ground, just swings it at people.
Holy
he
crap.
just strong, bro, and he doesn't care. He'll hit you.
That's awesome.
It's real good. I think it's 2 seasons, but it's real good.
It's
Okay.
it's crazy. It's low key. Low key got some gang stuff going on in it too. Not gonna lie.
They do some gangster shit?
It's about colors, bro.
Oh.
Oh my god.
I mean, I'm not lying. I'm not inaccurate.
I'll take your word for it. Yeah.
It's
no.
accurate.
Odd Taxi, right?
No.
No,
Odd Taxi, and then
Yes.
and then Durarara.
Duraran. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check these out.
I like your taste in anime.
Yeah, you guys seem to really bond over what
Man, just be watching everything. I feel like I be watching everything.
and now you realize
my roommate watches way more than I do. She's like, this is the one that's gonna be like the sleeper hit this season, and then like calls it every season.
what did she say this season?
Dungeon Meshi.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's not wrong.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Did she predict Freerun?
Oh yeah. If Freerun was first, and then when Dungeon Meshi was coming out, it's like, yep, Dungeon Meshi as well. It's like, okay.
Okay.
I'm glad that Freerun got that seal of approval because I love Freerun. That's one that I slept on for sure. And like halfway through, I was like, fine, I'll give it a chance. And best decision I ever made.
They animated the fuck out of that show.
Yeah.
Like they overdid it, and I'm here for it.
I anytime I can casually bring it up in conversation, I will.
Mm-hmm.
It's also one of those fantasy anime that like, it's not just falling into all the tropes of a fantasy anime, and it's trying to stay within a more like grounded D&D like setting almost. It's like, hey, the person who wrote this story had a story in mind, and that's all they're doing. They're not trying to feed into anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what Freerun does really well, and what we've mentioned before, is that like it diverts from that main stereotype of, you know, just that fantasy adventure where you're going to kill the big bad at the end. Like, you're starting after that. And then it's just, I couldn't even explain for the first like 7 episodes probably why I was even enjoying it. It was just like, I don't know, it was like comforting. The music did numbers. Like, I loved the music that accompanied the story that was telling. It just fit so nicely, and like I couldn't help just clicking next episode. Like, I wanted to just travel with this group of characters that I'm getting to learn more about, you know, and not only the main party with like Freerun, Stark, and Fern, but like getting to know her old party and like seeing how she reminisces on their adventures and like the life lessons learned. I think it's so nice. Like it was very wholesome almost.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where like it's real chill, and you're like, I'm not sure why I enjoy this, but it's just it's inviting. And then like Freerun didn't have character development when she was with the other gang, like as far as we knew. But then like the more time she spends with Fern and Stark, she's like, oh no, I did grow, I just didn't realize it.
Yeah, and I guess it's because of her like distorted, you know, view of time. Honestly, like she lives far longer than the average person. So
a decade is her weekend.
yeah, exactly. Like, oh, we'll just stay here for, you know, a measly, you know, just a quick little 10 years.
Stay here for a decade. It's like, we will not.
Yeah, and
Here for a week.
it's cool getting to see that because it is still character development. It's just on such a different like span of time, and then we get to see it, and it does time very fast. Like, we saw Fern grow up from a little girl to like essentially an adult now, and in the span of like maybe 2 or 3 episodes.
I will say too, the voice acting.
Phenomenal.
One of my favorite dubs I've ever heard.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't get into it immediately because I was waiting for the dub, and then I was keeping up with the dub.
Yeah.
And
Same.
everybody did phenomenal. I think Freerun's voice actress was definitely my favorite.
Yeah, same.
Oh yeah, her voice just was it was such a perfect fit for her character.
It's so weird because like at moments it's just so soft and it's warming and it's inviting, but then the moment she wants to strike absolute fucking fear into your soul, it's there. Like,
And like,
oh no, go ahead.
That's the thing where I'm like, I could see that a little more. The thing that catches me off guard is the okay.
It's so realistic though. It's relatable.
Or her like begging like, Fern, get me out of this.
Oh yeah, the treasure chest.
That's just that's a mimic. No, it's a treasure chest. But think about like we gotta open it. Like, what if there's some rare magic in there?
Like, what if this is the one?
You are the world's dumbest smart lady.
Yes.
Seriously.
I love how Fern ends up being like the adult of the whole group usually.
Poor Fern.
Yeah.
Or
she's-
Stark.
Or poor Stark, honestly. He's just kind of there.
Like he has to deal with his like the woman child that is fucking Freerin, and then the
moody ass Fern
who had to grow up too quick.
because she was raised by an alcoholic priest.
Mm-hmm.
That's a crazy backstory.
How could you not want to watch that anime?
Oh my god.
That was good.
It was.
Loved it.
Are we still talking about it? So clearly it was good.
Yeah, if like it can be done for several weeks, almost an entire season later, and we're still referencing it. Yeah.
Bro, I see it all the time in like the top animes recommended for me in Crunchyroll, and I'm like, bro, I'd rewatch it again, but I don't want to like rewatch it again.
I've been thinking about rewatching it just because I
Save it
liked
for
it that
later.
much.
I will slap you.
I don't care.
Bro, there's so many animes you should be watching.
Yeah,
Change
well,
your login.
I will get around it. Okay, well, say goodbye to your Hulu.
Hey, bro. Hey, no, we was joking.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought.
It's his. Don't punish me.
You came up with the idea. Just change the login.
Damn, he's got you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many anime that I need to watch, or like for even like the first time, or like just like again, just to, like be like, okay, that needed a second pass. But then like I'm also like, you know, I reread all of the One Piece manga. I need to rewatch.
I feel that. I really feel that.
Like, when it's that good, it merits a second watch through.
Yeah.
It's like, it's been a few years since I rewatched all of One Piece. I got time. I think.
Oh my god. I've wanted to rewatch Attack on Titan just because I want to see like what's it gonna be like watching it with eyes that
Context.
knows. Yeah, context. Just
Yeah.
being like, oh no. Like within the first episode, you're gonna be like, oh.
He was there the whole time.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of hints actually dropped throughout early on that I've seen people kind of like clip, especially like on TikTok, where you can see they knew like things way, way ahead of like the, you know, the actual reveals. The stuff in season 1, you can see like Reiner and like Bertolt kind of like doing their own thing off to the side, and you're like, oh shit, like they were always kind of grouped up together. You know, we didn't get that reveal till season 2.
But if you paid close attention, yeah.
Yep. The hints
Yeah.
were there.
Everything was very well thought out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I read that like after in 2011 when Attack on Titan had dropped that first season. Watched it, picked up the manga, started reading it, and it was monthly. I ended up stopping reading it because it was a monthly thing. Around when they introduced the Beast Titan, like they showed that, and I was like, okay, this is crazy. I'm gonna stop here. And I just let it build up. I kind of forgot about it.
Dang,
and
that's some self-control that I wish I had, bro.
I heard they were getting another season, and I was like, "Oh shit! I forgot that was a thing." I'm gonna go check it out. Finished it, and yeah, no, the manga community. If you were reading it, then they were toxic. They were toxic. I hope the One Piece community isn't like that. Like it's not so polarizing. Like, oh, I disagree with the ending. I hope it's just everybody's like, "Good job, Oda."
I hope so too. Like,
I hope it's like that meme where it's just like everybody stands up and claps.
he deserves it. Give that man
Everyone
a
like
standing
that.
ovation.
Yep.
Give him the standing ovation he deserves.
There's some absolute things in the anime community. Like we all agree, nobody talks shit about Bankley. We've already addressed this.
Chopper's best boy.
Chopper is best boy, and when Oda finishes the One Piece and we find out what it is, you shut the fuck up, you stand up and applaud.
Yeah, and if you try and spoil what the One Piece is for anybody,
Oh
it's
my!
on site.
It's on site.
Mm-hmm.
Count your days.
I'm gonna tell you right now, this Texas, okay, mutual combat that instant.
That's
Yeah,
also like that's one of the biggest reasons that I do hope kind of that the dub and sub kind of catch up to each other, because that would also feed into like another little theory that they're thinking that they want to try to get the anime and the manga almost caught up to the point where they could reveal the One Piece at the same time for everybody, which I think would be really hard to do, but also very like you can tell like this is for the fans, like we want everybody to experience it the best way ever.
The world gets the One Piece in this like at the same time.
Yeah.
Man, it would suck like being an anime fan that week, but like you just happen to be struggling. Like you gotta cancel your internet that month or something. You lose your phone that day. This is your only way to watch TV.
Yeah, if you lose your phone, you won't get spoiled. That's for sure.
Yeah,
you turn on the
somebody
TV.
tells you, "Hey, did you hear what the One Piece is?"
Telling you, people are gonna be out on the streets. It'll be all over the news. Like the news is gonna cover it, obviously.
Oh,
like,
bro, I'm just waiting to see the news articles about like this many people, fist fights breaking out, this and
Riots in the
that.
street.
Yeah, because over One Piece.
I hope it's more like around the world, people are having parties just to read the latest chapter of One Piece.
Yes.
To find out what the One Piece is.
Oh, I would
Yeah,
love
People
that.
in
Yeah.
pajamas, like with the whole like dinner spread and like the manga up on like a big screen.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's something that we gotta do. What we did for the 1000th episode and what we did for the Gear 5 reveal, we gotta do that when the One Piece is revealed. Just like a mutual get together, we all experience it at the same time.
The world's got to treat it like New Year's, and everybody wait for the ball to drop at once.
Yeah, I'm calling off of work that day.
everybody,
Go out to the middle of nowhere, have like a Woodstock event.
yeah, and we're all just sitting there, and then just like across the stage comes up Oda. He just pushes a button and just starts. And it's like
Yep.
broadcasted globally.
You could have like two stages where like the English actors are like on this
Yeah.
stage here, the Japanese are on the other stage, just like reading their characters' respective lines.
It would be.
See, how do we do this? How do we put this together? I wish.
See, this is why I'm glad that I am not Oda, because I would not want to be the person in charge of orchestrating all of this.
Bro, that's why God didn't let me be rich. He knows I'd be like Seto Kaiba.
That's the best fucking reference.
Just flies out to Japan, goes to Oda's studio, slams a briefcase of money on the table. Oda, tell me what the One Piece is.
Right?
You will tell me now.
I could fucking see you roll up with a suitcase a fuck ton of money and be like, whatever it takes, when that manga panel gets put out, anime episode 2.
Anime episode.
I want it to be released at the same time.
Live stream it.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be fair though, because people who read fast would be like, "Oh, hey, they could still."
Oh
they
my
could, there
God.
would be people, even if it dropped at the same time. There's gonna be that one guy who gets through the chapter and is like, "Guys, this is what the One Piece is."
I'm saying off of the internet that
Mid
month.
episode, bro.
The moment somebody's just like, the One Piece. snipers on site.
Like they need to not release the Japanese version of that chapter until the chapter drops worldwide, because the leakers are just gonna be all over it.
That's
Oh
the
my
crazy thing. The
God.
leakers are insane. Like, there's always like the fan translations and stuff that come out super early. They come out like Wednesdays and Thursdays sometimes, when the actual chapter doesn't drop till Sunday. And like, it's hard to avoid it sometimes, especially if you just interact with anything anime and One Piece related. You're getting that stuff immediately.
It'd be hard out there in the streets.
I avoided all like the plague.
Yep. It's a skill set that I am proud to have.
What, read manga?
Know when to avoid spoilers.
Bro,
Okay.
I sanction off parts of my internet.
Damn it. Oh shit. Well, Josh, I really appreciate you taking the time again to talk to us and open up the whole like perspective as into the voice acting industry. That was really cool, and I'm really grateful that you get to play a character that Gary could love. To be honest.
Yeah, you're cool as heck, bro. It was really great to get to talk to you.
Well, thank you again for having me on. This was really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We really appreciate the time you took to meet with us.
And if you'd like to take the time, kind of plug anything, any kind of links anywhere we can check you out, any like other animes that we should be watching with you in it.
So I've got a couple of cons coming up in October. I don't think I can say what they are yet, but keep an eye on my Twitter and Instagram. Both of them are at Kenpo, KHENPOE. I don't really have anything else I can talk about at the moment. I will use this time, if it's okay, just to shout somebody out on TikTok because they're going through a hard time, and
Absolutely.
I know the community would be, would be good to them.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Saiga Runner on TikTok. He's another One Piece creator. He's going through a tough time. If listeners, viewers can go check him out. He's on YouTube and TikTok, and just check out his Cash App. Maybe drop him $1 or so if you have the extra money, or just watch his videos. Try and get his revenue up. Him and his family are going through something, and it's something we can all kind of connect with, I think. And he's one of the nicest people I've seen in the community.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm a big fan of his too. He, for sure, we'll definitely make sure.
That's what we're all about. That's what the whole part of having a community. If we can get together and give back and help somebody, we should. So look them up. We'll look up that Cash App. We'll put it down in the description.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I appreciate everybody for listening and watching. Alchemists out.
Alchemists out.